Let's bring in Rick Perry, former Energy Secretary and former Texas Governor. Secretary, thanks for being with us. Okay, I got to tell you, when the administration says we don't know how much it's going to cost and we're not going to tell you what kind of tax cuts or tax increases might come from this, what it tells me is this is going to be a heck of a lot more expensive than anyone's letting on right now.
Well, here's the answer. They don't care. They don't care what it costs. What they care about is trying to get reelected in November, enough House members to keep the House of Representatives, to keep the Senate. That's all they care about. So this is a just totally irrational play to people who owe money on, and I think people that are watching, it's kind of like, well, listen, if they'll forgive this debt, maybe some government debt we've got over here, they'll forgive that for us. So let's keep them in office. That old adage of, government starts getting unraveled when you figure out that you can vote yourself somebody else's money. That's what's going on. Okay, so that's the theory, right? I mean, Democrats are saying we're going to give away money. It's going to energize young voters. November doesn't look good, but maybe this will help us out. But Secretary, do you really think that's the case? I mean, does this give them the kind of bump from a political perspective that they think? Because I got to say, there's so many people out there who can do the math, they can think logically, and they can see exactly what you're saying. And they're saying this is irresponsible. This is not government by adults. This is government by pleaders, by people who want to buy votes. I just don't think America wants that. I don't either. And, even folks who may not agree with my political philosophy and the political philosophy of the Republican Party, they don't want to be tagged as being ignorant. And I think that that's at the core of this, when you really get to it, is that they understand that this quest to attract votes with this giveaway is just insanity from an economic standpoint. And that I don't think that that's going, I think it's going to actually have a blowback on them between now and November that will cost them votes rather than do what they are wishing for, which is to get enough Democrats reelected. So I think they're on a fool's errand here. I'm not sure they know it, because we see them making decisions every day that are in the worst interest of American taxpayers, the worst interest of American consumers. I know we're going to talk a little bit about energy here in a minute, and there's another great example of decisions being made that are not good, both short-term and, quite frankly, not good long-term. You
hit it right on the head. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Secretary, stick with me. I want to talk about the Biden administration's latest attack on American energy, this time asking some oil refiners to cut down exports to Europe. Aishah Hasnie is in D.C. with the details. Aishah.
Hey, Brian, you're right. So we've all been watching this White House take a victory lap on falling gas prices. Well, now Fox has obtained a very concerned letter sent by Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm to major U.S. refiners, calling on them to limit exports in order to shore up domestic supplies. And in that letter, which has not been made public by the administration, she writes this: given the historic level of U.S. refined product exports, I again urge you to focus in the near term on building inventories in the United States rather than selling down current stocks and further increasing exports. The secretary is citing hurricane season as the reason for this. Oil and gas experts are warning, though, that this move could actually raise global oil prices, and more immediately, it would hurt our European allies, as energy bills for UK households are about to skyrocket by 80%.
During a time of crisis in the energy markets throughout the world, this is the last time that the United States should be thinking about limiting exports to our neighbors and our allies in Europe. This country has the energy that we need to export throughout the world to secure our place as the world energy leader.
Senator John Barrasso, ranking member of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, also is weighing in. He told me this: America is stronger as a nation when we are selling energy to our friends, not buying it from our enemies. In the last 12 months, Joe Biden has begged Russia, Iran, Venezuela, and Saudi Arabia to sell us more oil. We have plenty of American energy in the ground to both power our nation and help our allies. Democrats are blocking American energy workers from producing it here. We've obviously reached out to the White House to get a response to this letter. Haven't gotten one yet, but the White House press secretary just had the daily briefing and said that they are working with the UK to help them with their energy crisis. Brian?
Aishah, thank you for that report. We appreciate it. All right, let's bring Secretary Rick Perry back in. This is crazy to me, okay? The Secretary Granholm says build inventory. Please build inventory at home from the same administration that will not let American energy producers do what they have to do to build that inventory. The logic doesn't exist. What does she think is actually going to happen come this winter when the UK's out of energy and our heating oil supplies are at lows?
Yeah, there is a lot to unpack out of that baggage. Think about, this is the administration that shut down the XL pipeline. They're the ones that stopped the offshore drilling and continual leasing of federal lands. So at the start of this is this administration decisions when they first went into play. Then think about this. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve, if she's serious about, hey, man, we got to be in great shape here for a hurricane season, that's what the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was set up for, those types of natural disasters. So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, which is nothing new. But the fact is, the refining industry is now 1 million barrel less capacity than it was when the Biden administration came in. And the reason for that is all of these woke policies that come out of this administration. And these refineries are looking at those things and they're making decisions about, hey, we can't do this because if we invest so that we have more capacity going forward, this administration is going to pull the rug out from under us. Again, I think Americans are smarter than that. They understand that this administration, playing to the woke left that are praying at the altar of the environment, are putting Americans not only at risk from the standpoint of their economic future, but also, and this is the bigger picture here, the Europeans are in a mess. I mean, the energy costs are approaching $1,000 a megawatt hour over there. I mean, this is some stunning disaster waiting to happen. And we better be watching closely, or it could be showing up on our shores with the type of energy policies that the Biden administration is putting into place.
But it's just obvious in so many ways we're not watching closely. I mean, Secretary, listen to this. This is California, okay? California, always on the leading edge of this apparently, has formally voted to ban the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035. Governor Newsom celebrating it as a big climate win. Listen to this.
We will be the first jurisdiction in the world to require all new cars to be sold to be alternative fuel cars. And here's why it's significant. Besides being a game changer in terms of our climate and our energy leadership, it's a game changer in another respect, that the car manufacturers themselves are celebrating and embracing it.
A game changer. Secretary, ask Europe about that kind of game changer. This is what's headed for us, isn't it?
He has just spoken truth. It is a game changer. I spent a lot of time recruiting businesses out of California because of the silly policies that they put in place back in the mid-2000s, and they're continuing to do that today. What you will see, people will look at this and go, you know what? That's enough. If we're so stupid as to allow the leaders of our state, in this case, to say, you're not going to be able to have combustion-driven engines. I mean, you think about all of the different ways that the economy creates wealth in California because of fossil fuels. And to basically say that's going away, combustion engines are going to be gone by 2035, people will start making decisions today about, okay, how do we get out of here? And I can promise you, Texas, Nevada, Florida, all of those states are going to have out the welcome mat and say, hey, come on over here. We're still going to be able to allow you to operate a fossil fuel-driven vehicle.
You're going to be getting a lot of visitors in Texas. I can see that coming now. We got to leave it there. Secretary Rick Perry, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.